Namaskar, this is Akhilesh Bhargav. Welcome to Tidbits on Business and Finance with me. Diwan Housing Finance Limited, or DHFL as it is popularly called, used to be India's fourth largest housing finance company. Today, the company and its promoters are in the news for all the wrong reasons. The company's affairs are under investigation by criminal and investigation agencies like SFIO, Enforcement Directorate, CBI, Income Tax Department, etc. And the latest reports were that the Enforcement Directorate has searched, raided the office and residential premises of the company and its promoters on account of charges of money laundering. Reports say that the ED has attached assets running into hundreds of crores. At present, the company has been referred to the NCLT for resolution. It has been referred under the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. In case a buyer comes, a takeover takes place, and the company is viable, then it would continue to exist. Otherwise, a liquidation is imminent. Led by State Bank of India, bankers are therefore in a hurry in order to get a buyer for the company, even if it means that they need to take a substantial haircut in respect of loans of almost 85-90,000 crores that banks have given to the company. When the banks announced that the company was on sale and invited offers, the best offer that was received entailed a write-off of 65 to 70% of the loans given by the banks. That meant almost 60,000 crores of bank loans would have been written off. That offer was not accepted by the bankers, who said that the offer must be improved. At the moment, the best offer that has come is a controversial offer from the Adani Group of 31,250 crores to take over the company. But that also would mean almost 60-70,000 crores of loans would necessarily be written off. State Bank of India says that DHFL has got assets of over 43,000 crores and therefore has been asking all the suitors to improve their offers. In the meanwhile, Kapil Wadhwan, the jail promoter, says that the offers are too low, and he has been writing to the banks and also to the PMO, Finance Minister, etc., saying that the offers must be rejected. He also says that he is willing to put in his personal assets of over 44,000 crores in order to repay banks and revive the company, and would like to be back in the saddle. Here is a scam artist who has certainly milked the company and made those kind of assets and is now wanting to put them back, revive the company, and probably hoping that the investigations against him would be closed. The fact of the matter is that if Adani has jumped into the fray, that means some kind of a juicy deal must be apparent. DHFL as a scam is not one that can be committed by one smart individual crook. It needs a team. It has to be a system creation. An entire team is at work when such kind of a crime is committed and perpetrated for years together. Viral Acharya, the plain-speaking former deputy governor of RBI, very pertinently says that the banking crisis that we face today has not come because of a few errant delinquent bankers. He says it's happened because of an overall institutional weakness that prevails in the system, and it is the likes of DHFL that also get created because of this kind of institutional weakness that prevails. Take the case of ILFS. Ravi Parthasarathy, the kingpin, did not create that scam, did not perpetrate that fraud single-handedly. He had the collusion, he had the participation of its directors, key management personnel, independent directors, auditors, rating agencies, everybody who mattered. Same is the case with DHFL. It was not the creation of just Kapil Wadhwan. As we said, such kind of a giant fraud which is committed and perpetrated for years together, it necessarily is a teamwork. And such kind of frauds succeed because this teamwork is done under the shadow of weak institutions, weak institutional processes and surveillance. All the scams, all the frauds, all the scams that took place in banks, NBFCs, financial institutions, etc. in recent years have had a very simple, time-tested formula. This formula was create a very impressive facade, create a shining facade of a strong company with a very ethical management, and behind this facade continue to perpetrate and commit this fraud and financial crimes. Let's discuss the facade that was created by DHFL. DHFL at the instance had reputed firms as auditors. Deloitte was its auditors. A well-known firm, Shah and Chaturvedi, was the auditors. And then it had very well-known trophy independent directors, as we call it. Directors with a glorious career track record. And who were these independent directors? Mr. V.K. Chopra, former CMD of SIDBI, a career banker. Mr. Alok Mishra, a former CMD of Bank of India and former chairman of Indian Banks Association. Mr. G.P. Kohli, chairman of LIC, former chairman of LIC. Dr. Dipali Joshi, former executive director of RBI. And Mr. Sanjay Joshi, a former IAS officer. These were the kind of independent directors who were on the board of directors of DHFL. And it is they who also headed all the key committees of the company, which is the Committee on Finance, the Committee on Risk, Remuneration, etc. This was the second layer of the facade. Because of this, the third layer came, which is unqualified financial statements on the company's state of affairs. These unqualified, clean and impressive financial statements were signed, attested not just by the auditors, but even by the independent directors of the company who we just named, who were men of eminence, which is what the public thought. Because of this, the company got the next facade, investment grade rating. And that investment grade rating was further reinforced by glossy ads and promotions, creating the aura of a company which was strong and run in a very ethical and integrated manner. This was the facade that DHFL created. After that came the crimes. The crimes that came were bogus, scammy, false financial statements. Statements that hid the reality and showed a very, very rosy picture. So the first crime, the bogus financial statements. And then under it were committed banking frauds, financial frauds, tax frauds, as well as security frauds. And of course, not to forget crimes of money laundering. On the basis of, under the garb of these kind of impressive financial statements that were created, they of course were false, but they looked extremely impressive. The company was able to get an investment grade rating from rating agencies, and that was extremely crucial for it to be able to raise money on a big scale. The company managed to raise money on the support of these kind of ratings on a large basis from all kinds of sources. Bankers lent it money, mutual funds gave money, pension funds gave money, provident funds gave money, the public gave money, public financial institutions gave money, all of them gave money. And that was the kind of fund that was created for the promoters to merrily siphon away. Perhaps because of those influential, well-known names who adorn the board of directors of the company, it also managed to get a clean chit from the Reserve Bank and every other regulator. And then what happened? The real crime happened. Money was siphoned away, money was laundered, money was diverted, and this diversion happened by the promoters. It was done by them on a large scale, running into tens of thousands of crores. Money was siphoned away by way of international money laundering into various jurisdictions, and the investigations say that the promoters own assets in many other countries and territories. Because of there being no check on the promoters by the directors and the auditors, they also invested the monies of the company into a lot of questionable assets whose titles itself are suspect today. The company also transacted with the underworld. The directors gave loans to assets which had the footprint of the underworld. Reports say that the company has lent 2,100 crores to a project in Worli, and in that project, the Dawood gang is said to have been a direct beneficiary of the lending by DHFL. Those were the kind of crimes that were committed. These giant crimes were not the creation, were not the handiwork of one single individual. It of course was a teamwork. And because the team involved influential men of good standing, of well-known standing, they were able to carry it on for years together and expand it to such a size. The net result of all this is that the public has been cheated, the banks have been cheated, investigations are on, promoters are in jail. Perhaps the company will be able to get a buyer, because if you're willing to give such a huge haircut, of course somewhere some fund will necessarily come and take over the company. The fact of the matter is that while the promoters are in jail, the others who should be in jail are the auditors, are the independent directors, are anybody else who was expected to keep a check on the promoters and who did not do so. Unless that is not done, what Viral Acharya says, which is an institutional overall weakness, is not going to be rectified. Until that does not get rectified, yet another DHFL will certainly surface now or later. This is Akhilesh Bhargav signing off till we meet again. Namaskar.
Now be the first to know about the latest updates on our new news app. Go on your Android or iOS, search for HW News Network. Download our app, choose the language you prefer to get updates in, and be up to date with the latest news.
If you like this video, please share it, and we would love to hear your comments in the comments section down here. Also, please do like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter to get minute-to-minute news updates. For more such shows and videos, well, subscribe to our YouTube channel.